Hey, what's up everybody? This is the Helpful Hacker, and today we're going to be going over the Introductory Researching Room from TryHackMe. So we'll jump right in and get started. So in this room, honestly, this might be one of the most important rooms on TryHackMe, or not the room is the most important, but like this principle is the most important. And it's basically that nobody knows everything, and you have to research. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out in cybersecurity or if you've been doing it for 25 years, you'll run into things that you just don't know because the knowledge base is so vast. So we'll get started with task number 1. And this is basically just going to talk about how important it is to be able to do research. Like I said, probably the most important thing that you have to be able to do, because nobody can know everything. You still got to learn the basics, and that's why you go through TryHackMe or Hack the Box, or practice and do all the things. But at the end of the day, there's really not much of a replacement for somebody who is good at researching. And it's a skill that you can practice and learn, and that's what this room is about. So read through all this. It'll give us a brief overview of kind of what we'll be going over. And then once you've read through that, you can mark complete. And with that, we're done with task number 1. Now it's on to task number 2, example research question. So basically, you can read through this. He gives an example research question, which is you've downloaded a JPEG from a server and you think there's something hidden inside of it and you want to figure out how to get that thing out, whatever it might be. So he walks you through how he would research it and how most everybody researches everything. You plug it into Google and then you keep digging, and you dig until you have a kind of understanding of what's going on, and then you can be more specific and you can dig more and you can just keep on looking. So basically, he Googles hiding things inside images. He learns about stenography, which is what that's called, and then he asks extracting files from JPEG stenography. So how do you actually get the stuff out once you've put it inside of a JPEG? And then he finds some tools, and then there's a tool that he uses here called StegHide. And he notices that in order to use that tool, you have to install it. You install it using apt, and then it's, what is apt? How does that work? How do I use it? So then you can just Google what is apt install. You learn that it's a command that has a bunch of function, but a big part of it is it lets you install new software packages. So then he Googles, how do you install with apt? Since now we know what it does, and then he finds the command, and then he can plug it in. He gets StegHide, and then he's able to use StegHide and extract the data from a file. So this is his example, basically how to Google, how to research. And so you can read through that if you want details, and then he gives kind of a bit of a methodology. But at the end of the day, it's a skill. There's 1.5 million different ways to do this. So just kind of do whatever works for you. I'll kind of show you what I do, which is a lot like what he does, which is just Google, So yeah, I just can't emphasize enough how important it is to be able to do research in cybersecurity. Really, in any job that's like technical or requires you to know a lot, research is where it's at. So let's go through the questions. In the Burp Suite program that ships with Kali Linux, what mode would you use to manually send a request? So I'm just going to use a Brave browser. So I'm just going to Google that. What mode would you use? And here's the other thing. When this room was made, that's my attack box. When this room was made a super long time ago, like AI wasn't a big thing. Now AI is a big thing. And using ChatGPT or Google AI or the AI that comes in your browser, totally valid. It's just like using Wikipedia is totally valid. Because when you're doing research to solve a problem like the problems you'll come across in cybersecurity, or to solve a CTF, or to learn more about some sort of software, it's not like you have to, cite your sources and use peer-reviewed research. right? GitHub, Stack Overflow, any sort of AI, all helpful, and you should use all of it. So here it looks like we have the burp repeater. So if I go back here, is that one word? I think it is. So it's probably just repeater. So that's that answer. Also, by the way, if you're following along, you should try and do these first and then only look at what I'm doing if you can't. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to figure out all these by yourself. But I'm going to walk through them anyways because it's always good to test yourself. So this is literally posed in a really good question format. So I'm just going to copy the question and see if AI will give me an answer. Sweet. NTLM. Just want to highlight that. Submit that. What are automated tasks called in Linux? These are called cron jobs, and that one I do know off the top of my head. What number base could be used as a shorthand for base 2 binary? Isn't it hexadecimal? And here I'm just plugging in these answers because they're not crazy important. But again, if you were doing real research, right, like you could read this whole thing, learn what's hexadecimal, what's binary, how are they related, why in the world would hexadecimal be a shorthand for binary, what exactly does that mean? And then you could, continue to research, come up with new questions, and plug in those. Did I... What number base? Oh. Is it base 16? Yeah, that's the same thing as hexadecimal. I just didn't look at their question format. This is another one. Like, he has the questions already for you. You pretty much just have to Google. What? Let me look at the format real quick. That format's long. Longer than SHA-512. Like SHA-512 hash? Okay, if password hash starts with, what format is it in? SHA-512. Okay, and this is why they have hints. Cry. That's our question. SHA-512 crypt. Let's try that. Okay, so I know it's SHA-512. The hint says crypt, so that's gotta be crypt. Why does it not want to? Oh, there we go. Okay, so you just didn't have the dash in there, I guess. That was kind of dumb. I wasted some time doing that. But anyways, that's part of research, right? That's just kind of how it rolls. So with that, you're done with task number 2. Now it's on to task number 3, vulnerability researching. So now we're talking specifically about researching vulnerabilities, and there's 3 really good websites. There's other ones. The biggest one that has like all the vulnerabilities that you'll probably be using are the NVD, which stands for National Vulnerability Database, and then ExploitDB, which stands for Exploit Database. And basically, ExploitDB is going to have a bunch of vulnerabilities listed in it, but they also often will provide you with the actual code to exploit them. So that's a little bit different. Whereas the National Vulnerability Database is mostly just a huge, massive database with every single exploit or vulnerability that's been discovered. It's in there, it's listed, it tells you a little bit about it. So, and then they have the CVE MITRE, which is also useful. So that stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. So yeah, you can read through that. You'll most likely be using the top 2 websites more often than not. Still, it's good to know these. And ExploitDB, if you're doing hacking, you'll use quite a bit. So read through that. And then down here, it talks about a tool that comes pre-installed on Kali, and that's SearchSploit. So like I always say, if you're looking for, do they not have it? Oh, there we go. So not manual pages, but they do have SearchSploit. I just had to type it in. So remember, they don't always have manual pages. Sometimes you got to do search, like the command with attack H for help, or command -- help or whatever. Or in this case, I was able to just type in SearchSploit, and now it's telling me a little bit about SearchSploit. And basically what this is it's a tool that will search ExploitDB for you from the command line. So that's really useful because, you know, a lot of times you're heavily working in the command line when you're doing a box or an actual penetration test, and it's nice to just have a tool from the command line. You can just do SearchSploit, you search your term, and then you'll get a list. You can filter through that list till you find an exploit that you're looking for or that might be useful. So you can read through those. They're going to talk about it here, and they give you kind of an example. So in this example, there's a CTF, and you get a website, and it says, welcome to Fuel CMS version 1.4. So you know the version, you know what it is, so you can do SearchSploit Fuel CMS, and then you'll get results. So let's try that just for fun. SearchSploit Fuel CMS. And we get all these. We got some remote code execution for 1.4.1. There's a blind SQL injection, but it's authenticated. CSRF for 1.5.0. So yeah, we can see right here, we have a bunch of different cool stuff that we can use against Fuel CMS. So that's how that works on the command line. This is what it looks like if you actually go to the actual website, which again, just follow that link. If you're going to be doing a lot of hacking, capture the flags, you should bookmark that. And yeah, you just go in, you do the exact same thing. You can search, and then they give you, they lay out the information a bit better. It's obviously a bit more user friendly just because it's the website. So you have an actual GUI, and you can see the CVE. You can see whether or not the CVE in the exploit has actually been verified. Then you have the exploit, the author, the type, what platform it's on, all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, read through that. And then it tells you a little bit down here about CVEs. They're a number that's assigned, and you get the CVE number, the year, or CVE, the year, and then the number of the vulnerability that was found. Okay, so what is the CVE for the 2020 cross-site scripting vulnerability found in WordPress forms? So we'll jump over here. You click on the search ED exploit database, and it'll take you to this web page, and then we can just do WordPress form. So we have a couple from 2020. So we'll check out each of these and take a look at their CVE. So we'll try this one first. That's not the right answer, so let's go back. I think I grabbed, no, I can't remember. I'll grab the oldest one. Is this the one I just grabbed? Yeah, it is. Okay, never mind. So this second one looks like it should hopefully be the answer. And this one doesn't have a CVE, so I doubt it's that one. Okay, let's go back. We'll check out this one. It has a CVE number, but maybe They want CVE in front? Nope. Oh, here we go. Maybe it needs that other dash. Maybe it's a formatting thing. So maybe they want it like this. Okay, there we go. So this is kind of a formatting thing. That's why this one was kind of tricky. You got to do CVE dash, then the year dash, then the thing. That's like the full official CVE number. I was thinking I could just do, you know, the year and then the actual number portion, not the CVE part. So now we can take a look at this local privilege escalation, Apache Tomcat, and that's back in 2016. So let's do that, Apache Tomcat, and that was in 2016. So now I have some 2016, and both of these are local privilege escalations. This one has been verified, so I'm gonna go with that one first, and you can tell because it's just has that little check mark. And then here's the full CVE number for that. So you can't just take that. You gotta format the whole thing, and let's see if that's it. Nice. So that's the answer for that one. And then what is the very first CVE found in the VLC media player? So I should be able to come here and just do VLC media player. Oh, sweet. And then we can go to the very last, because I believe it asked for the last one. This is the very, I guess, last one as in first one. Is that what it's asking for? What was the very first CVE found in the VL? Yeah, so the oldest CVE found. So we can go to the very end. And we can take a look at this. Do they give me the full CVE number? Or are they going to make me do it? They're going to make me do it. Whatever. So let's copy that, CVE, paste that, and there's the right answer there. Now, if you want to exploit a 2020 buffer overflow in the sudo program, which CVE would you use? Buffer overflow, sudo. Does that come up with anything? No, it doesn't. Okay. So if I just search sudo, oh, 2020, there's only a couple. They're both buffer overflows. Neither of them are verified, so I'm not sure which one it is. They look very similar. They're probably pretty much the same thing. So we'll try that bottom one, take this CVE, paste it there, and we got the correct answer. So that's kind of how you can go about searching exploit database. Like I said, super useful. And what's cool about it is it literally gives you like a bunch of info on it. So it gives you quite a bit more, and it gives you actual code. Whereas the National Vulnerability Database mostly just is keeping record of all the vulnerabilities. So with that, you're done with task 3. Now on to task 4. The man pages, super important when you're trying to learn tools, and tools matter. They're not the end all be all like some people think, but they're super important. So hopefully you already have kind of gone over some of this, but you can read through this. He's just going to talk a bit about the man pages and what exactly they do, why they're important. I already talk about it a lot. I talk about it in most of my videos. If whenever a new command comes up, I check the man pages and see if they have them. If not, there's usually some sort of help page that you can get to that will help explain the actual tool. So, big fan of these, use them all the time. And basically the command is just man and then your command, or sometimes there aren't man pages available and you can do the command and you can do -- help or -h. And if you try all those, usually one of them will work. Or sometimes, like we saw earlier, you can just type in the command and hit enter, and then it'll give you a little blurb about how the syntax of it kind of works. So yeah, read through all this. I think it's pretty straightforward, and we'll see some examples because I'll run through them on my attack box that we already used to check out search exploit. So let's look at the questions here. SCP is a tool used to copy files from one computer to another. What switch would you use to copy an entire directory? I know this one off the top of my head, but we're going to check out the man pages anyways. and then I'm going to go hunt it down. Recursively copy entire directories, so -R. So let's take a look at that. And that's the right answer there. fdisk is a command used to view and alter the partitioning schema used on your hard drive. What switch would you use to list current partitions? So fdisk. I gotta quit that first, and then we'll man fdisk. And we want to see current partitions. Would it be list? List might be it, because it'll list the partitions. But did it say? It said specifically current partitions. My guess is going to be L. We'll go with that. And in the real world, you would just try it, see what happens. Boom. There you go. Right. Okay, Nano. Love Nano. It's a text editor for Linux. There's arguably better editors. Yeah, I like Nano. Nano's a great one to start with. What switch would you use to make a backup when opening a file with Nano? So let's quit that and let's man Nano. And then my guess is B, when saving a file, back up the previous version. So B might be a good guess for the answer here, but there's one when you exit, right? Isn't that what it said? Nope. When opening a file with Nano. When saving a file, back up the previous version of it using the current file name and suffix. Is there anything else that says anything about backing up? Let's restrict mode, don't read it. Nope. Version, characters, rename. I'm gonna go with -B. I didn't read it enough to be 100% confident, but I bet that's the answer. -B, ignore for compatibility with Pico. Okay. Cool. So let's try it. -B. Boom. Right answer. Netcat is a basic tool used to manually send and receive network requests. What command would you use to start Netcat in listening mode using port 12345? So they're getting a little trickier, but still, man, Netcat. So it's going to be NC. And then, did it ask for anything else? So NC is definitely going to be part of it, because that's the first part of the command. Wait, does it want all that though? Yeah, it's asking for the full command. So NC dash, and then we want it to be listening mode. Listen for an incoming connection rather than initiate a connection. So yeah, listening. Also, pro tip, usually if you want it to do something like set it in listening mode, then it's gonna start with L generally. That's how most people do these things. Not always though. So that's gonna be -L, and then the port, I'm willing to bet money, is -P, and then it's 12345, but I'll show you where you can find that. Again, you just wanna read through this whole thing. You get down to, that's a capital P will give you proxy usernames, but a lowercase p is source port. So I'm pretty sure this is our command. Submit that, and you got the correct answer. And with that, you're done with task number 4. Final thoughts. Read through that. You can keep going. You can get way more advanced with researching. Google dorking is a big one. If you want to get into like OSINT, then researching becomes pretty much your job. And they have awesome automated tools and so many different things. And you can check that out on TryHackMe. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. That helps me out a ton. And with that, congratulations, you have finished the introductory researching room from TryHackMe.